Good evening. Good evening. This is Beacon of Hope, Friday special edition with me, your host, Counselor Elizabeth Kangede. Once again, it's that day, it's that Friday when we have to be together, when I bring you your program, Beacon of Hope. And tonight, I've been telling people you cannot afford to miss. We've got our young people talking to us, and I'm really excited. I am looking forward. I am excited, especially now the young people that I'm dealing with, they're girls, girl power. I told you in Beacon of Hope, we empower, we inspire, we teach, we empower. So tonight is no different. We want to empower our young people. We want to talk to our young people. We want them to come and share with us and to tell us what they think about us, yeah? As parents, and particularly in the diaspora. So tonight, it's not a night like any other because I know the girls that I'm hosting are loaded. They are here to talk to us. And as usual, I usually tell people when you come here, come with your questions, come with your issues, come and share also. If you've got any questions, we are not the experts, but we like sharing whatever we know, whatever we have. So tonight, please, I am sharing. We'll be live on Facebook. We'll be live on YouTube, Beacon of Hope Bacon. So please join us. That is exactly what I'm doing right now. I am sharing. Be a partaker of this. Share, share and see. Share and be part of us. Yes, I am sharing too. That is what I'm doing right now. As you see me bending, looking down, I am sharing because I don't want anybody to miss. I would like all my viewers, all my friends on Facebook to come and learn what we are going to learn from these girls. So once again, it's Beacon of Hope, and this is our Friday special edition where we host different people. And tonight, I've just said we are hosting these girls, and I'm really excited. I am looking forward. I know these girls here are loaded. I know they're also waiting to come and talk to us. So just share, please. Invite somebody. That is what I'm doing as I'm waiting for you. Share. Invite people, visitors. Go like us on YouTube, Beacon of Hope Beacon. Yes, share. I can see Esther Duta anasema tumekuja, tumewasili, karibu sana. Karibu, my girls are excited. You know what? I am so excited because in Beacon of Hope, we say we empower, we inspire, we teach. Yes. And that is what we want to do tonight. Yes. Now, waona mmeanza kufika. Well done. Kindly share, invite. I always tell people when we come here, it's not for me. It's not for you alone. Share, please. And particularly our young people in the diaspora. And parents, don't be left behind because these girls have had a lot. And that is why I had to invite them. They are challenging us. Those things that we are not doing right. Yes. And I've told them not to fear. This is their forum. This is their place. I am their mentor. I'm helping them. And how can I help them if they don't open up? As you continue sharing, as you continue inviting people, I would like to ask you, are you looking for land? Are you looking for property in Kenya? Are you looking to invest? Yes. Tonight, I bring you news of Almod Estate. Almod Estate Company Limited, who are in Nairobi, my sponsors. They are based in Nairobi, and Almod Estate Company, who are in Nairobi, they are here for us to support us. You can buy any land, any property. Are you looking to buy a home? Are you looking to buy a piece of land? Are you looking to invest? Even these young people, I am encouraging them. And you know what? With Almod, who are my sponsors tonight, I'm going to show you what they have. They've got so much. Look at that. Don't look any further. If you are looking to buy a property, they've got Almod Kisuru Heights, and they've already, phase 1 is gone, finished. Phase 2, they've got this magnificent upcoming development by Almod, located just 15 kilometers from center, from CBD. Yes, it comprises of studio flats, 1 and 2 bedroom apartments, and the features there, spacious, ample parking, there's an elevator, CCTV. What else are we looking for? Proper security, starting from 1.8 M. See? Please, 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 for any inquiries, any bookings, anything you want to know, you can text me, email me, and you can also call direct plus 254 733 874 080 plus 254 733 874 8080. It's not even it. They've not finished. Almod, they are really thinking well of us. Are you thinking of land? Yes, land. They've got beautiful pieces of land. That is Ada. And Ada, what does Ada mean? It's a Hebrew name meaning ornament, which signifies beauty. So Ada Gardens is in Kitsuru, and they've given you payment options. You can pay cash or 24-month installments, interest-free. How can it get better? Interest-free. So all these under Almod Estate Company Limited. There is landscape, there is available electricity on site, community area, borehole, chain link fence, all these facilities that we all need. To get further details, call 754 254 733 874 080 254 733 874 and 080. And Almod, they are really thinking well of us. That's not all. Still, with Almod Estate Company Limited, we've got bungalows. Some of us at our age, you're not thinking of these tall buildings. We are thinking of bungalows. Are you thinking of a retirement place? Are you thinking of buying your parents, your mom, your dad, your uncle, friends? Are you thinking of a place where you can be renting? Don't look any further. Almod Properties, they're here. Cash offer 4.95 million. That is only valid for up to 15th of August. Going very soon. It is, what do you have? Gated community perimeter wall. You have got your own compound, spacious, well lit with a lot of light, adequate water supply, touching the tarmac. This is what we also want. 24/7 manned security with CCTV. Most of us, when we travel back home, and especially those of us in the diaspora, we want a place that is safe. Do not look any further. Call now. Call today. Plus 254 733 874 080. Once again, plus 254 733 874 080. I repeat, this is Almod Estate Properties, and they are doing so well, thinking positively of us. Almod Estate Company Limited, that is in Nairobi. I'm going to come back for this and further details, because tonight, once again, we are loaded here. We are ready. We are coming with all these different options of what we need to do. But I was doing all this so that you can also share, so that you can invite other people to come and be with us, to come and join us. I can see Dama Ben, you are there saying, looking great, ma'am. Sophia Kamau, Kijo, you are there. Wagare Bull, Lucas, my brother, you are there. Esther Duta, Bishop Bike, and so many others. Please, please, please share, invite people, share, invite people, because I've got the young people. And my say is, and this is what I tell people, we cannot keep telling these young people that they are the leaders of tomorrow. What are we doing? I've really been burdened. I want to mentor these young people. I want them to take the baton. Yes, don't wait until we are in the grave, because that is what most of us do. We do not give these young people chances. And now, us in the diaspora, we have decided our approach is different. We want to mentor these young people, and we have seen that they can do it, yes, but obviously with our support. So tonight, as you continue sharing, Jane Karia, my sister, Reverend, nakuona unasema tuko ndani, yes, but are you sharing? Are you inviting people? Yes, and those of us who want to follow on YouTube, it is Beacon of Hope Beacon. I've not seen enough people so that I can invite these girls. I want these girls to come and talk to people, to a number of you, not just a few of you. So I can see we've got a few. Yes, Lucas unasema tumefika. Reverend Jane Carrier unasema tumefika. Crispus Washira is saying wonderful program with Almod Estate. Yes, our sponsors, yes. And these young people, I'm also encouraging them. They got to buy property. Yes, they got to start investing. I wish some of us were told about investments before we got where we are. We would be billionaires today. So young people, as we get to the program, it's your time now. And Almod, they're doing so well. They'll give you that. You can just go and negotiate. You don't have to pay cash. Yes, you can pay installments. Buy a property for your mommy. What a treat for your daddy, for your parents. Yes, you can do it. You're working. And if you talk to Almod, yes, they are doing so well. Almod Estate Company. That's the real deal. And they are thinking of us as diaspora in a very, very, very positive way. I'll be coming back with Almod Estate once again, just before we leave. Now, tonight, I've got my daughters here. And I'm bringing them in. Yes, here we go. Good evening, girls. I'll start with Angel. Good evening, Angel.
Hello, hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
I'm very well, thank you. Good evening, Chantel. How are you?
Good evening, Councillor. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very, very well, thank you. Nice to see the two of you, my daughters. I'm so excited to host you tonight. And you just had me. Yes, I've just told people that I'm expecting to hear all the challenges. And you know what? Don't fear. Don't fear. These people, you are covered. I'm here. I'm protecting you. Even if it's anything to do with mommy and daddy that you feel they should be doing this is your forum. And I always tell people that I'm a mentor, and a mentor is not one who just, does things nicely. A mentor is one who will really hit hard, whether it hurts or not. And that is what I'm doing with the young people. Because, like I've said, I wish the things I know today, I wish someone was there before to show me, to tell me. I tell you, I would not be where I am today. So, before we begin, I'm going to ask each one of you to just briefly introduce yourself. Say who you are, your names, whether you are a student, whether you are born here, whether you are Kenyan, whether you are British, whatever you want to tell us, just very briefly about yourself. Can I start with Chantel, please?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, first and foremost. It's an honor to be invited and to be able to share on a topic that I'm very passionate about and that I'm sure a lot of people are. I just want to say thank you for giving the youth an opportunity to have a voice and to share the things that they're passionate about and that they believe in, and really just opening up that dialogue. So yeah, I want to say that my name is Chantel Carrier. I am a cultural curator. I'm a producer. I am the general secretary for SEC Youth, which I do all together with the amazing people in leadership such as Johnny and Sam. And yeah, it's been a pleasure to be able to serve over the last year as a part of the youth leadership with SEC, and to kind of be a part of all the amazing things that they're doing.
Wow. You're just saying SEC. People don't know what SEC is.
That's true. That's true.
Kenya, Australia, yes. America. Yes. What is SEC?
Yes. So to put it briefly, SEC stands for Southeast Kent and Kenyans, and it is a community of Kenyans all over the southeast of England as well as Kent, who come together really basically to support one another, to build community, to teach, to learn. And yeah, so that's basically what SEC is. And it also extends into a youth division, which I have the privilege to be a part of. I am British Kenyan British. I think I've always struggled with which one goes first at different points and different stages in my life. It's been different depending on where I'm at, honestly, and who I'm with. But personally for me, I would love to say that I'm Kenyan through and through. But my accent tells a different story, so I had to accept the fact that I'm also British, and I'm proud of that. And I am the daughter to two wonderful parents, Jane and Martha Carrier.
Excellent. We come into that later. What you just said about your accent and confusion. I don't know whether I'm Kenyan and British. Okay. And please, if you don't mind telling us your ages, you can, but that's optional. You know, girls don't like, but if you feel comfortable, right? So we go to Angel now. Angel, you don't
Hello
mind
there.
introducing yourself?
Hiya. So my name is Angel Munga. I am the chair lady of the youth division of Luton and Dunstable Surrounding Kenya Community Forum. Um, I am currently a student, so I studied law with criminology at the University of Leicester, and I'm honoured to have this opportunity to be able to just educate and I guess speak to both parents and youth really on kind of the challenges we face growing up within this country in terms of both leadership and also kind of the barriers we face in terms of self-discovery, maybe struggles with self-identity, and also trying to kind of enter different careers also. Um, I would also say that I am Kenyan British, British Kenyan, whichever kind of goes first. And yes, I'm 20 years of age. And my mum is actually the group coordinator of the adult division of the London and Dunstable, Kenya, Surrounding Kenya Community Forum.
Excellent, excellent. I am so excited to have the two of you. And I'm sure most people, because I've got so many people watching, actually parents and also young people watching from all over, it's good that the chair of SEC has put this so that people can understand that SEC stands for Southeast and Kent, Kenyans community. And for those of you outside England, this is, like these different areas of UK where we have Kenyans, because Kenyans are spread all over. I can tell you, these two girls are living in different areas away from me. And so we've decided, Kenyans have decided to get together. And I really admire the chairs of these groups because they've decided, you know what? It's not just us adults. We also want to bring along our young people, and our young people have got their own sections to deal with. And that is why I have invited these young people who are the leaders of the young, the youth division, so that they can tell us what they see, what they think. Because when I was growing up, I know I found so many failures with my dad and the older people, but then we didn't have a chance to say anything. And that is why I've said, you girls, now I am here. I have protected you, and I've spoken to your mummies and daddies and your leaders. If there are things that you feel that they are not working, not just there, in the community, this is our forum so that we can talk to you. Now, having said that, now we move straight to why we are here. Our topic is Kenyan diaspora youth in leadership. For the two of you, what do you understand by leadership when you talk about leadership? Because for me, I used to tell people leadership even at home. When a parent cannot control the family, that's part of failed leadership. So people look at leadership and they say, oh, Councillor Kangeda, oh, she was a mayor, she was, no, leadership. So for you, at your age, I'll start with Angel. What do you understand by leadership? What do you think when you've been called, you are the leader of what is expected of you?
I personally like to see it as this. I like to see it as you're a guardian to people. And what I mean by that is you're somebody that has gained knowledge maybe through your experiences, maybe being put through certain situations, different environments, and you've equipped yourself to be able to educate others, to provide direction to other people, and also to share whatever it is that you've learned in order to better not just your own life, but other people's. That's what I understand as being a leader. Having knowledge and having access to things, and also being able to share and inspire other people.
Excellent. Chantel, the same question. What do you understand by leadership? Being a leader, who is a leader?
I would definitely echo a lot of the sentiments that Angel has shared. For me, the main thing that stands out to me, on top of those other added points, is service. I think leadership really is service. It is service to a community, service to people. It could be service to your family, service to colleagues, friends. I think we all exhibit leadership or leadership skills in different areas of our lives. And sometimes, oftentimes as a leader, or the perspective of a leader, the idea is that the idea or the perception is that leaders don't have anything to learn, but this could be like the furthest thing from the truth. I think there's so much learning in leadership. So much learning in leadership. It's about being able to grow with people and really do life with people. And I think anyone can really be a leader in whatever sphere of life that they're in. The only determining factor is that maybe you've experienced, maybe you're a step ahead. It could be a couple steps ahead, or maybe even to change perspective, you have certain skills or life lessons that you've learned that can be brought to the table, that can inspire. But I would say for me, definitely the bottom line is service. It's about being able to put yourself out there to serve, even in circumstances where you may not get anything back in return initially. It's about being able to have a vision as well. I think a leader is someone who has a vision for the future, for the way things are supposed to be, and they're trying to emulate that vision through their service, and to bring people along on that journey.
Do you know what? I just feel like this is the end of my program now. I just feel like you said it all, you girls. You just nailed it. When you say the leaders, they are those people who are ready to give service, because I think we'll come to that. That is where we fail. You've already nailed it. You've not come here to be the bosses. I was expecting to hear one of you say boss, and then I'll blast you off, because that is the problem with most people. They come into leadership thinking, oh, I'm the boss. I'm the only person who is supposed to be heard. I have loved your description, and that is why I twisted this story. And viewers, these girls have not been coached. I am just asking them random questions because I've had them in different forums, and I decided to find out, have their leaders, Wana Lucas and Sari, have they been coaching them? What has been happening? And I'm so excited the way these girls are confidently expressing themselves. I would like to say something. Somebody has written down there that these girls are the leaders of tomorrow. No, they are the leaders of today. Yes, I said it. When I was growing up, I kept hearing, I was told I'm the leader of tomorrow. I don't know, for so many years. I waited. I had to push through. Nobody would have paved way if I was still waiting. Even today, most of the people who are leaders, who are ministers, then when I was a young girl, they're still in government today. So it's up to us. When you know what you have, go ahead, take it. When you have that voice, I like what I've seen somebody there, Washida has written, that leaders are what? A leader is a role model. Yes. A leader is one who can be emulated by other people. A leader has got something that other people can copy. A leader who is one who carries people along with him or with her, not moving ahead 20 miles and people are behind. You know, I love what you are saying. I love this. Now, I'd like you to tell me, you people have been following, have been watching, and be it in church, be it in your uni, can you tell me, we are particularly trying to concentrate on the Kenyan leadership, especially in diaspora. I know you've not lived so long in Kenya, or maybe you travel and then most of your lives you're here. And I love the way you introduced yourselves. You are Kenyan, British, Kenyan. There's a bit of, we work on that.
Yeah.
I love it because that's the same thing with me. I'm both. But I've got more of one. I'm not going to say which one, lest I get myself in trouble. So, can you tell me, what are some of the failures that you think you've seen with us, your moms, the older generation? What are some of the things that you feel you don't like the way you're doing, the way we do things? And listen, I said, don't fear. I know Bwana Lucas is here. I can see Sari is there. They're not going to stripe you from your leadership roles there. No. If anything, we shall improve. I am also here. We want to know so that we can improve. Can you point out some of the areas you feel, I don't think this is the way our parents, the way they handle this, the way they do things? Yes. I'll start this time with Angel.
I would say for me, one of the biggest things that I've definitely seen, I think it's kind of changed over time, but definitely when I was a lot younger, is I felt that women were almost encouraged in a patriarchal society to fade into the background. So what I mean by that is kind of maybe sticking to, even within the household, kind of, it's a woman's job to, maintain the household. It's a man's job to go outside and to be a breadwinner, you know? And kind of that being traditional and kind of being carried through even to our generation. But you kind of also see it even in terms of careers. There's certain industries that I feel like only in more recent years that women are starting to dominate or go into. So for example, engineering. If you'd go back maybe 20 years, there wasn't as many female civil engineers as there is now, So I definitely think that women have started to realize that actually, in order to be heard, we can't fade into the background. We actually need to take a stand, and educate ourselves and actually be seen. You need to be seen in order to be heard. I would definitely say another thing that I think I've seen more within my community, and I think is also kind of reflective of the traditional centralized norms from back home, is that men traditionally are the leaders of groups within the Kenyan community, and female leadership isn't something that is normalized. That's not the norm. And I think the thing that I find kind of ironic is like a lot of uncles will encourage their daughters to, to be educated, to make sure they go out there and they get good jobs, and to basically go out there and be the best version of themselves that they can. But the second they see a female leader inside the society or as a chair of a group, they don't like that. That's not something that is normalized. That's something that they look at and they question. But I don't understand how you can equip your daughters, your wives, your aunties to be successful, independent women within the society if actually you refuse to acknowledge them as your equals. You refuse to give them the gratitude that they deserve. So that's definitely for me something that I've observed, and actually I think it's something that definitely needs to change, because in my view, you can't kind of have this mentality that, like you're encouraging women to essentially go out there and be the best versions of themselves that they can. But actually, when you see them within the community taking on leadership positions, you're not prepared to support them or cheer them on. You're still holding on to that patriarchal grip, Like, that's something I don't agree with. I heavily disagree with that.
That's my girl. That's my girl. And please, men, don't think, when people hear me saying this, they'll see, oh, this counselor, she's empowering girls now. Who will marry them? No. People have to understand there is a difference between being empowered, knowing yourselves. I can tell you, these are going to be some of the best wives. They know who they are. And with understanding, I'll have the boys next. Let them come and talk. And the way they are challenging, this has been the way. This has been the way. When I first wanted to become a counselor, I got so much challenge, but that did not deter me. Yes, that did not make me different. So yeah. Chantel, the same question. Chantel, go on, yeah.
Angel, were you going to say something?
No, I was just saying that you have to be the change that you want to see, really. Like, you can't only wait for the opportunity to be given to you. You've got to actively go out there and be the change that you want to see within society, 100%.
Thank you.
Which is something that I'm sure you counsellor you're doing 100%, which is great, because of course you're setting the pathway for young ladies like myself and Angel to come up after you and be able to have that space and not have to face certain challenges that you've had to go through, or hopefully the road will be paved with less bumps. So yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think like I said, I am a cultural curator. So what that means in essence is that I like bringing community together, but also kind of thinking about resources and things like that. And I just wanted to drop a really amazing gem that comes off of the point that Angel is making about the patriarchal society. I'm really not going to try and pronounce the name of the podcast because it's in Kikuyu. The name is in Kikuyu. The podcast isn't. And I really don't want to embarrass myself in front of these people.
Yeah, I understand. I can relate.
So I will post it in the YouTube chat. It's an amazing podcast that actually speaks on it speaks on the Kikuyu traditional identity, and it also kind of explores the idea of, there's a particular podcast that goes into the idea of actually before colonialism, you know, women were traditionally in power. So across a lot of African nations. And I wonder what would happen if, you know, that continued the norm. I wonder how different society would look. I think that, you know, like Angel said, we have to be the change that we want to see, and if we want to see something different, then we have to change from the norms that currently are in place. So I definitely agree and with what Angel is saying. Gosh, for me, it's really difficult because I feel like I feel so bad to be like, oh no, there's this and this and this, because I feel like I've definitely come a long way in understanding, you know, how and why the parents of myself, of Angel, of that generation may have the certain stereotypes, may have the sort of preconceived notions, may have the sort of cultural norms that they have. And in some places, I've come to sort of like accept it, move past the places that are, you know, kind of the conflict areas, and celebrate, you know, those gems and those sort of like really kind of rich learning lessons that they bring with them. So of course, I mean, an example I'll give is we all heard, you know, when I was growing up, I had to walk X amount to get to school, or I didn't, you know, and that is something that, you know, that would be often be said to encourage our generation to, number one, be grateful for what we currently have, but at the same time could be seen as something where it's kind of not, it's disassociated from the reality that we currently live in, and so it's not taking into account our lives, our journeys, you know, the current social pressures that we undergo, and making them relevant and making them just as important in the sense that, you know, we don't live in Kenya, we live in the UK, we live in a Western world. So how do we sort of recognize maybe the issues that come with living in this setting without trying to minimize those factors and sort of compare it to a life that us as individuals have never known. Though I think there are so many amazing teaching lessons, and there's so many points of character that are instilled through those stories, and I definitely am all for them, and I really, you know, have come even more so to appreciate the journey that I will say, for example, you know, that I've seen my mum go through, from when the stories that she's told me about how she grew up and stuff. I feel that sometimes as well, when you think about sort of parenting styles and different things like that, and how they were fit and set for that time and that period, it's not necessarily the most wise thing to copy and paste into this time. And maybe at times, maybe that would be a point of conflict amongst, I'm speaking specifically maybe, you know, preteen, tween, teenagers, when you're trying to find your own identity, and you know, you want to go out with your friends or things like that. So I feel that maybe on that part, I think I would say something that that parents could grow and really work on and do and kind of move milestones in is probably emotional intelligence, and really sort of understanding, especially nowadays in this time that we're living in. And I think similar to what Angel said, I do feel that, you know, parents are moving in leaps and bounds to really kind of get to grips with where we're at today, and acclimatize their parenting styles to the current like issues and factors that sort of are pressures on young people. I would say that really I think the pressures that young people face today are no longer like physical or economical factors. They're more emotional and mental factors. And so really kind of going in and diving into understanding, you know, emotions, mental health, those kind of things, I think would gear up, and I'm speaking to myself as a future parent one day as well, will gear up your ability to be able to parent effectively in this current society, and to raise up children that, you know, are well-rounded, do know how to kind of deal with, you know, relational situations, do know how to sort of carry themselves, have high self-worth and self-value, and really sort of know how to sort of navigate themselves, whether it's in the workplace or whether it's in uni, because they've been equipped with those tools. So I would say that's a great one for parents to really kind of think about, how can I really figure out the emotional health, well-being, relational health, well-being of my children? How can I do that? Yeah. You know, and I'll give a
wow. You brought me to a very, very important point, because I wanted to find out from you how you are growing up here and relating with, I know your parents, they are not parents who are born here. You know, most of us, your parents, we came here as adults working, or maybe came to uni and all that. So we've got so much of Kenyanism in us, which has taken long for us to cope. Now, how have you managed to fit in, particularly? Maybe you could start from your school times, whether you've had any challenges in terms of, one, I know, especially for girls, the skin color, their hair, their dressing. Have you had this one now, besides the leadership? You are growing up, getting to know yourself. Have you had any challenges growing up here, studying here in this nation? Have you had any challenges that you would say, this happened because maybe I didn't understand myself, maybe because of my skin color? And if it hasn't, I don't want to bring that. I don't like discussing so much the skin color, but sometimes it's there, it happens, and we need to open up. We need to speak up to help somebody. So is there one time when you are growing up and you found, maybe, I have to be very careful with my words here, segregated, or maybe sidelined, or being treated differently? Have you ever had any time when you also felt different? We start with Angel.
Oh gosh, multiple instances, I think, but I think it's part of character building. And what I mean by that is, I feel like kind of growing up, you know, especially in primary school, you starting from primary school, you'll get those questions like, oh, why is your hair like that? Or why do you dress a certain way? Maybe, you know, because your parents are from back home and they believe in modest dressing. Why is your skirt so long? Just, you know, little
modest dressing. I'm coming to that.
Just kind of little nitpicking things like that. And I think when I was much younger, it's definitely something that made me feel like I wanted to fade into a room rather than stand out. But I'm grateful to my parents that they did things that enabled me to become the woman I am today. And what I mean by that is, I don't believe that anybody is just born a leader. I believe that it's a process. And what I say by that is, in order to be a leader or to be somebody that is kind of self-assured, you need to grow that confidence. And that confidence, I feel like, is something that is cultivated within you from a very young age. So for example, with me, different clubs when I was in primary school, and I think probably more towards joining high school, like for example in year 7, I could say that I was very quiet, I wasn't really confident, I definitely wanted to fade into a room, not stand out in a room. And my parents, I think, noticed that and they enrolled me into an acting school called Top Hat. Now, being somebody that's not confident, having to essentially go to a place, first of all, where there was a large proportion of people that were Caucasian, and maybe came from different socioeconomic backgrounds to me. So to kind of go into an environment like that and be challenged, and then maybe having to perform on stage and do something that was out of my comfort zone, that allowed me to grow as a person. And actually what was outside of my comfort zone then became something that I was comfortable with. And I think then that kind of encouraged me. And for example, in year 8, I then decided that I wanted to become involved in school council. So I remember being in year 8 and being in assembly, the place was packed. It was full. Oh my God, I remember like it was packed. It was full. And I remember my friend saying to me, after I'd become school council rep, by the way, because you had to be a rep to then kind of go and sit there with the other school representatives. Do you think you could actually be the chair, essentially the chair of school council? Bearing in mind I was 13 and the current chair was in year 11. So they were on the complete other end. They probably were more sure of themselves, more confident, knew what they were doing. And I thought, no, but I'm going to try anyway. So I went to the front, I remember, and I just spoke about what I was passionate about. And I was shocked at the response. And I think that for me was definitely, I didn't do it more because I wanted the spotlight, but because I've always wanted to help people. I wanted to be the voice for the people that were like me, because I felt that I didn't have. Do you know what I mean? So when I did that and I got that opportunity, that again kind of gave me that confidence to think, right, actually, the only person in this life that's holding me back is me. The second that I believe that I can do something and I have the capacity to do it, essentially, I believe I went from kind of being that person that wanted to fade into a room to walking into a room and owning myself in every sense and having that confidence. But I definitely think it's a journey. And in terms of my parents, I'm lucky that my parents, even though they're Kenyan, they're slightly more liberal. However, that liberalism has come through, I guess, watching me go through my own experiences and wanting to learn and wanting to adapt. And actually having those conversations with me every time, for example, maybe I fell out with friends in school or I encountered a challenge, rather than kind of brushing me off. And because I know back home, especially like when my parents speak to me about their upbringings, it wasn't really normalized to talk about feelings. It wasn't normalized to talk about mental health struggles. Like mental health, I think, is something that most Kenyan parents have only come to terms with in this country because it's such a huge issue. Because of the prevalence of social media, the challenges that our parents faced was probably actually trying to create opportunities for themselves, striving for a better life, seeking better opportunities to better themselves. So for them, I think their struggle was more, how are they going to go abroad and get a better life? Our war is different. Our war is actually making sure that, you know, we grow up in society and we're comfortable in our own skin. Our war is essentially kind of trying to become the best version of ourselves, whether that be in our career, whether that be socially in terms of society. I definitely think there's a lot of competition now. There's a lot of watching in the sense that I think there's a lot of young people that would feel like this also, for example, especially with Kenyan parents. Oh, have you heard so-and-so's daughter's doing this? Have you heard so-and-so's daughter's doing that? I think parents need to kind of move away from that notion of watching what other people are doing and focus on their children in the sense of notice your children's talents. Because I feel like the time that our parents grew up in, there was certain professions, especially, you know, like the lawyer, the doctor, there's certain professions that were seen as the ones where if you go into those professions, you'll be successful. Whereas now, it's the 21st century, life has changed so much, technology has come so far. There's even a social media influencer. 10 years ago, that wasn't even a job. There's been such a progression, and I feel like actually you can be anybody you want to be. And the second that parents realize that and empower their children and actually empower their children to have that self-confidence, we will have way more leaders in today's society. But if you continue to kind of focus on what somebody else's child is doing, actually you're missing that opportunity for building up your young people.
Focus on your own child. I love that. Parents, you are here. It's so many of you. Focus on your own children. Yes, have that dialogue with your own children. Don't compare. When I was growing up, I remember my mom always used to say, so and so in Kikuyu now. You have to, copy. I can't be that person.
Why weren't you number one?
I want to grow up as me. I was a rebel, so that's where I am now. Chantel, you have the same question. Growing up, briefly, can you tell us? And also, I love the way you're saying it as it is. Parents need to come out from that, because most of us parents still have that Kenyanism in us, that notion of, so we still haven't fully fitted, despite being here for so long. We still want you to do like we used to do. We still want you to be teachers, lawyers, doctors. That's it. Chantel, over to you. The same questions.
So the question is, growing up, did I ever experience any difference based on?
Did you ever feel different? Did your mom or dad ever make you feel ever different in school? Did you ever experience anything to do with maybe people looking at you, treating you differently, and you thought maybe it's because of my skin color, maybe because of who I am as a different person from them, if it ever happened?
I grew up in Peckham, so I grew up in a very multicultural place. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. In fact, when I went to uni, I wasn't in London at the time, and then I moved back to London for uni because I wanted to experience London. I just felt like it was such an amazing city. So growing up, I would say that I was very much amongst like my people that looked like me, and people that spoke like me, and people in my neighborhood. It was, I was surrounded more so maybe by Nigerians than anything, but like also by Kenyans as well, as we'd go to like the different Kenyan functions and different things like that. So I would say that I never really faced a sort of internal conflict about looking different or even sort of sounding different, not that I can recall. But I think that for me, probably the sort of the awareness of that has more kind of stemmed in adulthood, as I went through university and as I navigate the workplace. It's definitely something that I'm much more aware of. I would say that through sort of my uni career, and also kind of figuring out what it was that I wanted to the path that I wanted to venture down, the path that was for me. I definitely knew that I wanted to, similar to what Angel was saying about creating, being able to walk your own path. I definitely knew that I wanted to create a space that felt unique and authentic, that celebrated who I was as an individual. In the field that I work in the film industry, it is still like very much, a struggle, and it is still very much a constant like topic of debate or conversations. You only need to look back on like, is it last 2 years ago, the last Oscars, that, and the hashtag that was, I think it was So White Oscars or something like that, to see that, representation is not there. And I think growing up in today's society is sort of a double-edged sword in the way that it's so amazing because young people see themselves everywhere. And I think that maybe, in terms of future aspirations, and thinking about career and the life that one wants to live, there is so much more visibility for people that look like us out in, whether it's on the internet or whether it's even on, on our TVs or on YouTube. It's much more readily available. And I think that, even when I think about the career and the path that I'm walking down, maybe I would say that probably that was the only distinction for me in terms of being able to be connected with mentors or people that I felt like who understood the journey that I was, walking down that were on a similar path. But yeah, I don't think necessarily growing up I had particularly any experiences that I would say made me think about. Well, I mean, when we moved from Kenya, when we moved from Peckham, and we moved to Kent, I definitely was in the minority, and I think that it's funny because Angel, we have a similar story in terms of the whole youth council and things like that, because I definitely realized that I don't know if it was more a personality thing or it was because of the circumstances and environment. It probably was a bit of both. Found that I was a very shy individual, and so I had to sort of be quite I had to make a decision about the type of person that I wanted to be. And if this was the type of person that I wanted to be, I needed to start putting myself in those places where I could practice. And I think that, for anyone, black, white, but I mean, even more so when you're not seeing yourself on a frequent basis, self-confidence and self-esteem is a very important thing to be able to kind of instill into young children, to know that whatever they look like, wherever they come from, they're just as equal, they're just as worthy of the opportunities out there, and that they should go for those opportunities with all guns blazing, really. So yeah.
Wow. You know what? I love the comments coming from the parents watching here, because this is an eye opener for them, because some of us do things innocently. We think we are doing our best, but we're only doing what we know best. I love that comment by Reverend Jane Carrier, Mom. She says we have to allow our children to grow outside, use your God-given talents, and not to push you into our dreams, being a doctor, a teacher, because that is the only thing we would want. Hearing my son is the best lawyer in town, my son is a banker, my son is a teacher, he's a doctor, and now we got to let you, use your God-given talents, but at the same time, give you opportunities where you can find, where you can grow, where you can nurture those God-given talents. When I was growing up, I loved singing. Maybe if I was given, if somebody had nurtured me, I could be that Beyonce today. I could be, because I loved singing. But every time I sang, even singing in school, that evening I would get a thorough beating. My mom would tell me she did not send me to school to sing. And I used to lead mass choirs, and I loved it. But I would get a thorough beating, and I would be told no more singing. But because I loved it, anyway, that's me. Now that we have given you this opportunity, we'll be right back, because I want you to come and talk to the young people. I can see the young people watching, I can see their parents watching. I'll give you a short break, have a drink, and people, viewers, please, any questions, any comments, ask these girls, these young ladies, ask them questions, challenge them too. And when they come back, I want them to tell us where we have failed, because I know we as leaders, we have failed them. We have not given them enough opportunities. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Almod Estate Company Limited, our sponsors. I'm just reminding you, are you looking to buy a home? Are you looking to buy properties back in Kenya, a piece of land? Do not go any further. Do not look any further, because tonight we've got Almod Estate Company Limited, who are here, who are supporting us, who have lovely properties. The first one that I have for you is, look at that. We've got Almod Kitsuru Heights. This is in Kivishiko. Those of us from Kiambu, those around Nairobi, it's 15 kilometers from CBD. This is a phase 2, beautiful upcoming development by Almod Estate Limited. This is, I've said, 15 kilometers from CBD. We've got studio flats, 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, and they are lovely apartments. And that is not all. Almod, they are doing so much for us. They've got so much for us. I'm gonna get you the next one. Other than just the properties, what else do Almod have? Land. us and land, pieces of land, other gardens, which is an 8-acre plot, which is in Isinya, Kitengela, those sides, Kiserian, and other meaning ornament, which signifies beauty. This quarter or these 8-acre plots, they are available electricity on site, community area, borehole, chain link fence, estate manned gates, internal maram access and landscape, all within the same area. If you got any of this, if you'd like any of this, come on, let's invest back home. I'll give you all the details. And then that is not our Almod Estate company. I've got also retirement homes for some of us. We're getting old. We don't want to go into those high towers. We've got bungalows. And this is for cash, which is 5.75 million, but we've got an offer of 4.95 up to the 15th of August. This bungalows is a 3-bedroom and 2 of the rooms are en suite. Oh, gated community, perimeter wall. You've got your own compound, spacious rooms, well lit, adequate water supply, and CCTV security is paramount. We all know that when we go home. All these are being brought by Almod Estate Company. And if you want to get in touch, I've got the number, I've got the contact. You can get in touch with me, or you can call them direct, +254 733 874 080, +254 733 874 080. Almod Estate Company. They really put our lives into consideration. The things that they are giving us, all the properties that they have, all the pieces of land that they have is exactly what we have been looking for, exactly what we'd like. Do not look any further. Almod Estate Company, they are the real deal. I'm here for them. I'm supporting them because I know they are reliable. They are people we can trust. And if you want further details, just call them. +254 733 874 080. If you want people at home to go and check the properties for you, if you want them to go and check the land for you, if you want them to do all the due diligence, it is there. And phase 1 of this Kitsuru is already gone. Most of them was bought by Americans, and we've got the phase 2. Don't miss out, including the young people. Let's look at, you can buy your mommy, your daddy, yes, a present. Yes, and you don't have to pay everything cash. Get in touch and you will know more about that. +254 733 874 080, or you can call me or you can email them for further details, and then you will have your own property. Yes, if you're looking to buy a home, a property, land, don't look any further. Almod Property, they are reliable, they are convenient, and their places, whenever they have their properties, their land is very, very convenient. Get in touch. If you want a studio flat, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartments, they are there for you. Okay, we go back to our talk because it's getting better and better and better with these girls. Now, just before we move on, because you've just said a few of the things that you went through and all that, what do you have to tell the young people growing here? Because at least you are not old, you're not young, you're not in your 18s, especially those going to uni. Most of us parents at the moment, we are suffering because the minute we release our children to go to uni, they are into drugs. They become, and I'll be very honest with you, we've got quite a number of our young people in jails today, Kenyans. The statistics have shown, and people have gone to visit them. You've got so many of them in drugs. You've got so many of them who have dropped out of school. Now, what advice would you like to give our young people, you as Kenyan leaders? Because I said nobody should tell you you are the leaders of tomorrow. Today is your time. And that is why I have given you this opportunity. You got to showcase. People have to see you've got what it takes. And I said, I wish I was given an opportunity at your age. But by the way, I don't think I missed out so much because I became a head teacher at the age of 24 in Kenya. So somebody must have seen something in me and gave me that opportunity. And that is why I want to expose you. I want to nurture what you have, plus the other leaders that we have. So what word do you have for our youth, particularly our Kenyan youth? We start with, who wants to go first?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay, Angel, go on, Angel.
I would say there's actually something I saw on Instagram. I can't remember the quote exactly, but I'm going to give it a shot. So it basically said, this is your first time living this life. Don't have any regrets. Be authentically you. And I found so much freedom in reading that, and I 100% stand by that. I think the best thing you can do in this life is be truly authentic and be true to yourself. So for example, I would definitely say growing up, my parents were quite strict. And then my mum kind of, went to university, became a social worker, and actually went out into the working world and kind of saw for herself the challenges that young people face. And I definitely think that made my growing up a lot easier, because it meant that actually conversations that traditionally you wouldn't be having with your parents, I was talking to them about stuff. I was opening up to them about things. And it meant that I've never had to truly hide who I am in front of my mum and my dad. So for example, I know there may be this view of, for example, if you're going to a party, drinking alcohol maybe, or going out with friends, some parents would view that as taboo. You can't speak to them about something like that. That's not a conversation that you can have. Whereas actually, even if your children aren't speaking to you about it directly, I can assure you it's something they're doing behind your back. And it's important to what I'm honing in on essentially is it's important to be able to create an environment in your home where your children feel like they can come to you and speak to you about things. Because one thing I can certify you is that if they're not having these conversations with you, they're having them with somebody. If they're not having them with somebody, then they're struggling with it internally, and it breeds room for depression. It breeds room for self-identity issues. And that's where actually young people, rather than being able to open up to their family and recognizing their family is there for them, seek family outside. So that may be in forms of gangs or getting involved in like the drug trade, for example. I believe that these things are a lot of things that could be stopped early in their tracks if actually they could be open and honest with their parents and say, actually, mom, dad, auntie, uncle, this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I'm going through. How can you help me? It doesn't mean you completely let your children fly off the rails. And I'm sure, when I was a lot younger, there's probably things I came to speak to my parents about, and they were like, actually, we're not going to let you do that. And I probably thought, oh, they don't care about me or whatever, kind of having a teenage tantrum. But actually, they were acting in my best interest this whole time, But I also sit here and think, my life would have been so different if I wasn't able to be who I truly am in front of both my mum and my dad. They would have known me for me. And I think I've actually seen that in the wider community where young people are up to all kinds of crazy things, and their parents are the same people that will sit there and say, not my son, not my daughter. They refuse to acknowledge the struggles that young person might be having. So definitely normalizing that conversation. Learn with your young person, learn with your child. Just as they're figuring out who they are as an individual, you're learning about them also.
Yes.
And it's important to understand, even being 50, 60, whether you're 50, 60, or you're 10 or 12 years of age, you are not the final definition of you yet. You go through so many phases and changes and experiences that shape you and mold you. The person that you are today, you may not be that same person in 20 years' time.
There we go.
So it's important to actually be accommodating of that and acknowledging that what you're seeing in front of you is not the finite product. You hear stories every day of people that have, for example, been addicted to substance abuse or things like that. And in 10, 20 years' time, they're motivational speakers. They're in a completely different space as to what they were in that moment. But it's important to understand that no two journeys are the same, and everybody's journey is different.
I like that.
Go through an experience to be able to teach you something. Or God may put you through that experience so that you can stand up there and be a beacon for somebody else. Somebody else can learn from your journey. Somebody else can learn from that struggle or that trial or that tribulation that you went through. So I definitely think that, and also encourage your young people to love themselves from the moment they're born.
I love
empower
that.
them,
Self-acceptance.
empower them, nurture their talents, ensure that they're confident walking out into the world. Because if they believe in themselves 100%, there's nothing that life can throw at them that they won't be able to face head on. You know? So I'm a firm believer in that, because I think your parents essentially are the first people you see when you come out into the world, or whoever your carer is, you know, and if they start instilling confidence in you, or self-belief, reassurance, all of these kind of things when you're young, that's something that you will carry with you for the rest of your life. It's something that you can use to help other people. You know, for example, with me, I've actually seen a question here that I wanted to address, and I think it was to do with wearing makeup.
Yes. Would you like to handle that? Would you like? Can you see the question? Can you see the question?
It's actually disappeared. Sorry.
Yes, I know. I've got it. I could.
Okay, thank you.
Let me get that question on, and then quickly, as you handle that, you can. It's from Helen. She says, I'm sure you can see it now. It says, my question is, I find teenage children to be absolutely gorgeous. Why do they feel the need to do so much makeup, and how can we deal with this issue as parents?
I would say, because this is actually something that I struggled with. God knows if my dad is watching this, he'll say yes, 100%. I remember when I started wearing makeup, he'd tell me, why do you need to wear that? You don't need to wear that. Like, you know, he'd even ask my mom, why is she doing that? Why is she wearing that? But I remember going to school, being in year 7, and actually I had beautiful skin, lovely skin. I didn't need to wear makeup. But I remember going into school in year 7 and observing what other people were doing. And because at that point in time, I wasn't very self-confident, I felt like putting on this, I kind of categorize it as a mask. At that time, I categorized it as a mask. Whereas now I think it's a tool that can be used to enhance natural beauty. And the reason why I define it as a mask then is because when I wore makeup, I felt confident. It made me feel different as to when I didn't have it on. And you know, as a result of that, to be honest, I even got acne from it. It didn't really do me much good. I ended up getting acne from it, and I struggled with that for a very long time. But through that journey, I came to a point where I was like, actually, me trying to mask my face with all of this makeup, it's not helping me. I need to remove that veil and learn to be confident. So even though it was daunting, with my acne, I had to face the natural world. And yes, of course, mean kids will make comments, and adults will ask you, why is your skin like that, or what's happened, and things like that. But I'm grateful that I went through that experience, because the most beautiful face that you can wear is your own. You know, I don't feel like I need to go anywhere and wear makeup in order to feel beautiful or to feel confident in my own skin. Wearing makeup to me is something you use to enhance your own beauty that is there. But I definitely think if someone is feeling more confident with makeup on than without it, it's definitely a self-confidence issue. So maybe taking baby steps. For example, with me, it started with stop wearing face makeup and maybe just doing your eyebrows and wearing eyelashes, and then going into school or whatever, and then kind of gradually taking that down. But I definitely suggest sitting with that young person and asking them, why is it that you do wear it? What does it do for you? Okay, if it's a confidence issue, how can we address this? How can we solve this together? You know, but I definitely think it's important for you as an individual to feel confident in your own skin rather than feeling like you need to wear makeup. And I honestly do blame social media for this 100%, because I will give you a prime example. So what a lot of young impressionable girls are not understanding is you can airbrush photos. Somebody can have a full face of acne and you don't see that. You're seeing their clear skin. And that's the power of editing tools, and it's the power of social media. And that obviously has a negative effect, because if a young person is struggling with self-confidence issues, some of them might think, okay, if I buy this product, it's going to make my skin look like theirs. And actually, that's not entirely the case. I'll give you a prime example. So with like I watch Love Island. I don't know if any other people do, but like somebody on there is Kaz. She's a beautiful Black woman. And if you go look on her Instagram, in all of her pictures, her skin appears really clear and perfect. She looks gorgeous. And on Love Island, she appears slightly different. It's not to say that she's not beautiful, but that level of perfection that's achieved in Instagram is not real life. And a lot of young people need to start understanding that. Social media creates an illusion. You're not entirely seeing the real. What people forget is that people are putting the best parts of their life out there.
Absolutely.
Not their day-to-day reality. You know, so definitely realizing that actually textured skin is normal. Having acne is normal. Going through periods in time where you don't feel confident at times is also normal. Everyone has insecurities, but you need to understand self-love is important and you should love yourself regardless. So I definitely think that, yeah, it's important to have that conversation with that young person, 100%.
Woo, woo, woo. I told you, these girls, somebody has just said that they are oozing with wisdom. They're just oozing with wisdom. Everybody's glued here. They want to hear more. And I've already had a demand that they want. I've seen my sister Stacy and my sister Shiromo New, they have said, Catherine, they've said we should have more of this, and they want us to have another session where we can have now face-to-face, where the young people can sit and talk.
100%.
You can meet each other, because another thing, there's a positive and negative of these Zoom meetings. In that confidence, it's hiding a lot of it, so that when you go and face people, you feel so strange. You cannot even sit in an interview. When I've been sharing my meetings on Zoom, and last 2 weeks ago when I went on a live meeting, I just felt so strange looking at people, facing them. I wasn't confident again.
It's definitely different, yeah.
I think what these people are asking for, if the parents are for it, I am here. I'll look for a hall. We can have a whole day with a whole afternoon where you can discuss.
Workshops as well.
It helps so much, because some of the young people have no one to talk to. Some of the parents have blocked, such that the children cannot talk to them. Right. I'll go to Chantel. I know, Chantel, most of the things have been said by Angel, but what do you have to add to what Angel has said?
So this is advice for the youth.
Yes, please.
It's very loaded, and like you rightly said, Angel has just brilliantly summarized, everything that really I think is important. But I would say that the advice that I would give is to remember where you come from. Angel's talked a lot about
about knowing yourself, not looking at that other person, accepting your skin color, because, and I also like the challenge Angel has said, we the parents have to be the mirror. Some of the things we do, we don't think that our children are copying, because I'm coming to that. And I want you to confidently challenge us as parents. Some of the things that you feel have been a bad influence on you people, not necessarily you people. Come on. They're just making fun anyway. Now, we're coming to that point where I want you to bluntly now challenge us. There must be things that you look at us and you think, including me here. I'm hosting you, but there are things that sometimes you feel, I wish our parents would handle this way, would approach these things differently. Whatever it is, be it even your dress code, be it what we expect you to do, be it even giving you opportunities as young leaders, what are some of the things that you feel, you as young Kenyans in the diaspora, you feel, I think we've been denied an opportunity. I think this approach has not been the right one. I think, is there anything that you feel we should be approaching it differently? I know some that have been told, but I would like this to come from you, because we're not perfect and we are here to be challenged. We are here so that we can get together. In the course of what you said, having those forums where young and old parents can get together and gel, that is the time when you'll be telling us, I don't think this is the right way to do this and that. And now, because we've got so many parents here, you are that voice of the young people who might feel left out, who might feel there's something missing, and it should be included, who might feel a certain approach has not been the right one. Anything that you'd like to share with us. And please, I've created this forum for you. So don't feel like, oh, I can see my auntie there, I can see my mommy there, I can see, what do they say? No, 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 no. You are here to help us, because some of the things we do, we are innocent. We grew up in Kenya. I grew up in Geshagi, just in the village where going to school, I wore no shoes. So for me to come here, I'm driving, I've got clothes, I've got everything. It's such a different kind of lifestyle. And maybe I'm expecting my children to live the same kind of lifestyle. You know, I'm expecting my children to do the same kind of clothes like I wore. So what are some of the things that you feel, I think if our Kenyan parents in diaspora could change this? And please feel free, challenge us. Who wants to go first?
I'll just kind of roll off of what we were saying previously about knowing where you come from, and I think that I would say something that we could do more of is, and this is like a brilliant opportunity. I'm gonna like dissect it into particularly Kenyan British or British Kenyan young people, is being able to be a part of community, and that's particularly Kenyan community. And I want to sort of like use this opportunity to, you know, highlight the amazing work that Southeast Kenyans are doing, as well as, you know, along with the like amazing leadership of Chairman Lucas Kamau, and all the different community organizations. Because, you know, growing up, I think in my younger years, there was definitely much more of an organic community that actually initially probably was based around church, was based around faith, and was beautiful. It was beautiful to be able to connect with people who came from the same country as you. You know, I also want to use this opportunity to celebrate, like, I believe her name is Ruth, defending the 1,400 meter medal today in the Olympics. I think we have so much to celebrate about our culture, so much to celebrate about where we come from, and we all do it in different ways, from whether it's, you know, bringing in the food that we eat or speaking the language. I mean, some of us, and my mom knows that I will always make this a thing, some of us are gifted and blessed enough to know the language because our parents taught us. Others of us are now having to join lessons later on in life. So I would definitely say, don't feel shy about being very intentional about passing on those traditions, those cultures. For myself, you know, as I move on in life, and as I think about, you know, my own children one day, and the culture that I want to pass on to them, and making sure that that is passed on, there are definitely some barriers or some obstacles that I would say that, you know, now being British and being born in Britain, and you know, having Kenyan heritage, will be there in terms of being able to pass that heritage on. But whatever you can do to get up to be a part of a community, a Kenyan community, there is so much. I'll go back to the saying that says that it takes a village to raise a child, and I think that's one of the amazing adages that we can continue to bring into this new like world that we live in, into this new society that we are being raised in, especially as the world becomes more individualized. I want us to be able to run to community, because I think that, you know, this will be sort of the saving grace for, you know, a lot of the elements that we see in the Kenyan community now, like you said, in terms of the high imprisonment rate of young Kenyans, or, you know, substance abuse, or we understand and appreciate like the depth of what it means, or maybe we only know like the small like increment of what it means to raise a child in today's society. And I think that now that we're coming back to a place where we're placing community at the forefront of of how we live our lives as Kenyans, but also of raising our children. I think that the more that we do that, the more that we can find solace in being able to relate with other people, in being able to engage with our community, in being able to celebrate and kind of pass the baton on for all the good traditions, all the amazing cultures that we have inherently in us as Kenyans. And yeah, I never want to really get away from that, and I feel that that would be sort of what I would say is something that we can move towards more. So whatever community you have around you, please tap into
what is good.
Tap into it, yeah.
Tap into what is good, because it doesn't mean that everything that's a certain community. Well, the world is so individualized. We need to connect and be part of a community. I love that. You see, parents are coming up. Right, Angel. There we go. What was it that we are not doing? You're still not challenging us. I want to hear those things, that because don't make us feel all that nice. We're not. We're learning from you. We need to learn from you. Some of the parents here still have young kids. They want to know where, and especially girls. I think girls can be a bit of a challenge bringing up. I've seen one of the mothers say here that Pastor Eunice was saying, bring her daughter. She's been encouraging her daughter not to wear makeup, and yet she's still very young, but she wants to start wearing makeup. That issue of wearing makeup, we'll come back to that if there's time. Yes, and you also look at what is that cultural thing you love about being Kenyan. Let's go back to what we were talking about, parents. Yes, tell us, where have we failed? What are some of the things that we don't understand about you? That barrier, because I know there is a barrier between us and you, because you are more of British, and most of your parents, we are more of Kenyan. We are still trying to adjust, but we have got more of Kenyan. Our mentality is still back there. So those are some of the barriers that we need to break, so that we break even and we are able to move on well. Some of them have managed, but I know you talk with other young people and you watch, and you talk. So tell us.
I definitely kind of, just following on what's been said previously, I think we've reached a pivotal point in today's society. And what I mean by that is, I believe it's important that especially us as like young Kenyan people are informed more on our Kenyan culture and our heritage, because we've gotten to a space where it's either we're informed thoroughly so that we can continue to carry on the baton and essentially be able to emulate that moving forward, because I believe it's important to know where you've come from in order to know where you're going. Or because how I see it is this, there's still kind of like, especially in terms of Kenyan leadership within community, there is still that hold on traditional values, of course, but it's more of the older men per se continuing on those traditions. I feel like the young people per se have not really, or some young people anyway, have not been fully taught, the traditions. So for example, on Kikuyu, the full traditions of our tribe, in order to be able to help educate other young people. And I feel like if we're not taught thoroughly and completely, of course, the men will continue to lead, and the young people may not necessarily have an opportunity to participate more in those traditional practices. And it also means that if we're not educated properly, that when we then go on to have future generations, that sense of tradition, Kenyan tradition, can die out. It's something that may not continue to be carried forward. So I honestly think that educating young people on where they've come from culturally is important. But in terms of the barriers within kind of young people and parents, I would definitely say accepting the young person for who they are, because not everybody is academically gifted. Not everybody is an A-star student, and that's just the reality. Because I know some parents, if you go to school, you do your exams, and if you get B grades, they may ask you, why weren't you number one, or why didn't you achieve straight A's? For some people, no matter how hard they try, it's unfortunate that that's just not the reality of the situation. Some people are musically gifted. Some people are graphic designers. Some people would thrive in industries that are outside of the norm. and acknowledging that you don't necessarily have to be a doctor to be considered successful. You don't have to go down that traditional avenue to be rendered successful. You don't even need to go to university nowadays to be seen as successful. There's degree apprenticeships. Some people start businesses and they end up becoming successful and they end up becoming millionaires. So it's recognizing those talents within your young people and empowering them. But I would also say empowering young men to understand emotion is okay, because I believe that a lot of men struggle with showing emotion, especially, like, for example, with Kenyan men. You know, it's traditional that they're the breadwinners. You know, showing emotion necessarily growing up, especially for my parents' generation, may have not been the norm. So they may think it's not normal to cry, or it's not normal to express how they're really feeling, other than like maybe expressing it through other means that are not entirely emotional. So definitely encouraging young men to know that it's okay to show emotion and that doesn't make you weak. And it's good to have some kind of emotional vulnerability about you so that you're able to connect with other people, because you're human at the end of the day. Nobody's expecting you to be perfect. But I also believe encouraging the Kenyan men within society to support women, and not to just support women in terms of vocally saying it. Actions speak louder than words. Actively showing it within the community. Some are amazing in supporting women, and you know, we continue to applaud them through and through. But actually, you cannot encourage your daughters, your young women that are growing up within society to go out there and to be the best versions of themselves, to go out there and to be part of the decision-making processes, to go out there and to work within government and do all these things, when actually you're not prepared to step aside and allow them to pave the way. And I believe that it will eventually get to a stage where it's either the men within society actually start to acknowledge women and give them credit where credit is due, or that it will continue to cause conflict. And why does there need to cause conflict when there's room for everybody? There's room for everybody to succeed, and there's room for everybody to thrive. So I definitely believe encouraging and empowering our young people, acknowledging them for who they truly are, and not making them feel like they have to be somebody else, so that they don't have to go out and actively seek family or seek comfort in other people. You know, the people that essentially are building you up should be your immediate family members, those people that initially have access to you, because I believe that will carry you forward. But also understanding that no person and no individual is perfect. And you know what? It's okay to get to a stage in life where you are confused or you're still trying to figure things out. You don't have to know everything. You know, life is a continuous learning process. You don't have to know everything. So if your young person has gotten to a stage where they've hit a block and they're not sure of maybe the career they want, actively help them by maybe getting them career sessions in schools, universities. There's career departments that you can speak to, you know, speaking to other people that are within those professions, getting some advice, getting some help. Definitely allow them to be authentically them. Do not impose what it is that you desire for them upon them, because then how will you ever get to truly know your young person? So that's definitely the advice that I would give.
Wow. This is getting better even as we almost come to the end. We must answer this question. There is, you brought in the cultural thing where you said, and you've challenged us, but you see, somebody has commented and said, this is so broad. It's an elephant if we talk about culture. And particularly if I can narrow that to the Kikuyu culture, there's so much. Is it in terms of food? Is it in terms of marriages? Is it in terms of dressing? Is it in terms of family life? I mean, those would come in form of questions, which I believe we are ready. We can tackle whatever we can. And I believe Chairman Lucas is listening. We will work together, and Sari and Stacey and all the other leaders and the parents. I can see parents saying, yes, I'm in for that, because we don't want you. You are British, yes, but you don't want you to lose that Kenyanness in you. Which you have proudly said. You have openly said here that you are really proud of that, some of the cultures. But if no one comes in and holds your hands, directs you, shows you, tells you this is the way things are done, eventually that you die a slow death with the next generation. I love this idea of you saying even the boys need to be taught. People need to talk to the boys, because here I am, I'm teaching my girls. Who will marry my girls? These boys will not be educated. They will not know where to take it from, and they'll be total failures. They'll be looking for support elsewhere, maybe in substance abuse, because they are lost. They do not know themselves. So the boy child also. Now, both of you, can you tell me what is one cultural thing? Somebody has asked, one cultural thing that you love about being Kenyan. I want you to think about it. I'm giving you a second, even as I talk about something else. One cultural thing that you love about being Kenyan. Think about it. Is it the food? How often do you have the Kenyan food? Is it the dressing? Is it the music? Is it the language? Is it their weddings? Have you been attending Kenyan weddings? Is it, think, it doesn't necessarily have to be one, but think, because personally, if it comes to dressing, most of the people know, all my Facebook pages, I love my Kenyan outfits so much, including, I remember being mayor and attending those functions wearing my Kenyan outfits, including all those bandanas, everything. I love them. I love, showing off with my outfits. Not that I do wear these for meetings and all that, but I love my Kenyan dressing. I love my Kenyan food, githeri, guashe, kima, all these. Although some of you, kima doesn't have a taste. Why do we eat kima? And these sweet potatoes, we love chips, chicken. Well, I'm not putting words in your mouth. So, Chantel, what is one cultural thing, or one or two, whatever thing that you love so much about being Kenyan?
There's a lot. So I would say that primarily what I'm in love with the most right now is the country. Maybe that's because I'm really missing it. Yeah, so I would say that the actual beauty of Kenya itself, the scenery, the nature, I think we're blessed with so much natural beauty, but then also the people as well. Like I try to go to Kenya as frequently as possible, and I think what has been so exciting for me, I remember when I was I think maybe I was 18, 19 when I went for the first time by myself, and I fell in love with how I just saw progress, and I saw how much the country had grown and developed. And then as I kept going back and engaging in like day-to-day life, like I love, being able just to go on a matatu or whatever else it is, just to immerse myself completely in the culture, and just, to celebrate the people, how hardworking they are, how innovative they are. Like, we have amazing minds in Kenya, like amazing minds, and we get to represent that here, from the sportsmen, the sports personalities, the sportswomen, and just how we carry our integrity, how we carry our character, the things that are important to us wherever we go, is absolutely amazing. For the longest time, and I don't know if you got this, Angel, whenever you tell people that, oh, are you from Kenya, they'll be like, oh, so do you run? I saw this crazy TikTok the other day. Oh my gosh, about this.
There's some trends on the three. Like,
yeah. And
get it all the time.
Honestly, especially in primary school, that was like one of the things, because that's what we were known for. But even just being able to celebrate that in this time as well, and I feel like it's something that we all need to sort of like get into more and celebrate, even with, say, for example, with rugby, and just because as we support that, and as we support, as we support, what the sportswomen and men are doing, and as we're talking about unconventional career paths, it's important for us to celebrate and put that in front of our young people, show them what Kenyans are capable of, whether that's in whether that's in science or in STEM, in technology. Find those people. There are amazing, you know, I've heard of amazing young people in careers like of engineering or green engineering that are doing amazing things. I think it's important for us to celebrate all those people doing amazing things, because I mean, what makes a country but its people? And there are certain values that we hold intrinsically in us as Kenyans, that when we go out there and when we shine our light, you know, we stand as a beacon for no pun intended, as a beacon for the country and for the beautiful, as much as there may be areas that we need to work on and areas of growth, there are so many areas that, you know, we need to begin to like sing about and begin to be patriots and be champions of the country that we come from. So I was telling you the story about running and that being the thing that people used to tell me, oh, do you run? So, you know, I was so ecstatic when last year I did this whole Couch to 5K thing, and I started running, and now it's become my thing for the last year and a half. And I'm like, I can actually be like the stereotype. I can actually say that I run. So, you know, maybe, I don't know, for all the Kenyans out there that are sitting on the couch, maybe you should get running too. You might be the next Kipchoge, or I don't know.
You never know. Wow, wonderful. Yeah. Absolutely wonderful. You're lucky. When we first came, those years, you know what they used to ask us? You say you're from Kenya. They'll ask you, so do you live with monkeys and giraffes and cheetahs and all these? You find them in the streets?
Those are questions too.
That's what some of them think, that you find giraffes, monkeys, elephants, snakes all over wherever you live. That's what, anyway.
Yeah,
they have changed now. That at least even the internet is here. They can see for themselves. And it used to be horrible because they didn't see it in a nice way. No. They used to think, oh, you live with monkeys, and you know, you live with all these elephants, and you live with all these hyenas and all that. Chantel, I mean, not now. We go to Angel. What is one or two good things that you love so much about being Kenyan, about the Kenyan culture?
Gosh, I don't know where to start. I don't think I could even put it into a single category. I mean, I think one thing that I really am starting to appreciate is our sense of community, wherever that is, whether that's at home or whether that's here. I've been able to walk into a room and Kenyans have identified me by, I don't know if this is a convenient time to show this, but actually this bracelet. A lot of young Kenyan people here actually have this bracelet.
It's not just young. I got it. I've been wearing it for so long now. Here we go. I wear it. Today is the only day when I don't have the Kenyan earrings, the Kenyan thing. All these people here know.
It's definitely become a way of kind of being able to identify other Kenyans in the room. And I feel like wherever we go, there's a sense of togetherness. And that's one thing I really appreciate. For example, like even going with friends, like me and my friends can go somewhere and there's Kenyan music playing and we'll sing to it and we'll dance to it. And there's other people you can feel the energy in the room that will also vibe with that and enjoy that also. So one thing that I really love is that it's not just Kenyans that love our culture and like love the country itself. We've rubbed off on other people. Other people appreciate us also. Other people from other cultures also appreciate us. So for example, even when you go somewhere, like I remember, I think it was 2015 that I went rugby for the first time. And even going there, and it's not just, you know, Black people that I'm seeing, Mzungus are there. There's people from different cultures that are also there, and we're all enjoying and appreciating the event, you know. So there's definitely that sense of community, that sense of togetherness, sorry. And I think I definitely appreciate the food. Mokimo, nyama choma, ugali, chapati, mandazi, you name it.
Mandazi, chapo, oh wow, everything.
You name it. Yeah, I definitely do enjoy the food, but also seeing the development of Kenya itself. And what I mean is, traditionally on the news, you know, Africa is not sometimes portrayed in the best light. Places like Kenya, it's often the poverty sometimes that could be shown on for people to see. And when people hear, that you're Kenyan, sometimes they would think, there's a lot of poverty there. The country isn't rich, essentially. But I think now And now more and more nowadays, you're starting to see that positive parts of Kenya are being shown. Positive aspects of Kenya are being celebrated. We're starting to see the growth from kind of our parents' time when you guys were there to even now. Like every time I go back to Kenya, the infrastructure has changed. There's been new developments. And I think that's something that we can continue to celebrate. You know, like I even remember when I was much younger, we used to go to Mombasa, sometimes we would drive there. But these recent times that I've gone, we've managed to take a train. And I actually, you know, and that's something that to me it also shows, the SGR, it shows development and it shows progression. And I think that's something that I'm proud of and I'll continue to be proud of. I'll always be proud to be Kenyan. It's part of me. It's embedded in my DNA. And I think a lot of young people also share that. You know, I've never really met a Kenyan person that's ashamed or embarrassed to be Kenyan. You know, we fully embrace our culture and where we've come from because it is part of us, and we'll continue to pass that on to future generations. And also, Kenyans are loved by other African communities, other communities worldwide. So definitely.
So you need to encourage the young people to be proud Kenyans, to talk about their culture, to talk about their dressing, their attires, their food, their language. Although Pastor Jane, Reverend Jane Kadi has told me Kiswahili is being now is the main language. I can see so many of us here. And you know what, girls, you are in full demand to come back because people are saying, do you know we were meant to be here for an hour? We've been here for 1.5 hours and we still feel like we've only just started. That means there is a lot for you to offer. And people have demanded. And I'm going to look at this. We'll talk with the chairs and see whether we can have a workshop. We need a workshop on a day where people can meet. Now that things are opening up, we look for a big venue where the young people from all over Kenyans can come meet. You know, we prepare food, you know, like you're saying, come and have talks through you, ask us questions. I will organize, I will talk with the chair, Lucas, because like I told you, I love mentoring young people. I love seeing young people being into leadership positions, because if no one had held my hand, I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't have done and I'm still moving, you know, but I want to mentor you. I want to hand over the baton to you. I don't want us to come to that end where it will be an end of an era and there is no one to take over. You know, there'll be no one else. You guys are going to be the next councillors in the next, you know, we have here in Buckingham and Dagenham, the youngest councillor in England. She's 21. And her mom is also a counselor. She mentored her. Why can't I have my own Kenyans? You guys watch this space. And that doesn't stop you from going on with your jobs, with your studies, with your life. So I need to make sure that I'm getting you away from Lucas and from Sari. You too. You got to pave way for the others. You know, let us have even lady MPs. We can. As I move up, you also come in. We need to mentor you. We need to nurture what you have, because I noticed when I had you talk, Angel, and I knew there's something in you. There's a leadership in you. We continue praying for you as parents so that you do not deviate from your God-given talents, because God has given you. The two of you have seen, and I know there are others, that you've got some God-given talents in you, especially in leadership. The way you articulated yourselves today, the way you are confident, tells a lot. Not many young people, I can tell you, and I'll not be beaten by the parents here. There are some parents here who cannot, they've got everything, but to be able to express themselves in front of people, they would say, I've invited people and they're so good, but they've said, no, please. No, please. I can write it down and then you read it out for the people. And you see, it's not going to be the same. You know, it's not going to be the same. So really, I really want to mentor you. I want you to you know, I want you to join me. I know I've got full support from the other leaders, because we got to start from somewhere. If during my time I only managed to mentor 2, well and good, I'll say hallelujah. Chantel seemed to have disappeared. She'll be coming back. So as we come to the end of our program, Angel, what do you have to say? And I know you are coming back. You're in full demand. What do you have to say? Any part in short, anything now, free, anything. Plus even talking to your people, your leaders, your mommy, your daddy, your mates who are here, anybody else, just, it's free anyway. Go ahead.
I would like to thank you so much for this opportunity. And you know what? I think I've come here not for myself today. Being completely honest, I haven't come here for me. I've definitely come here to mirror the thoughts and the feelings of a lot of young people. I'm definitely not somebody that just aspires to be greater for myself. I definitely do believe in empowering other young people also.
Yes.
So definitely, like, I would be interested in maybe potentially doing workshops in the future where I could encourage young people with public speaking, because I also know that it's something that is very, very difficult. It's a work in progress. It's something that it takes time to become comfortable with. But I'm glad I've been able to come and speak to the parents here and actually educate them on the fact that life as a young person in this country, although you've provided us with all of the tools, the necessities, we have access to education, we have roofs over our heads, you know, we're grateful for that 100%, because, you know, that's something that you've done for us and you've struggled to get to where you are. However, as young people, we're growing up in the most difficult society I think there ever has been. We're facing a lot more challenges per se than our parents didn't have to face. I think our parents, the challenges were more in terms of opportunities, in terms of career development, and actually having the resources to become who they want to be. Whereas for us now, I think the war is more with ourselves. And what I mean by that is there's so many things out there now that can shake your belief in yourself as a person, that can make you question your own identity, that can make you not have that confidence or that self-assertiveness to be able to go and chase your dreams or go and chase whatever it is that you want to chase. Because, for example, I always say this to people: if you don't have that self-belief, if you don't have that self-assurance, you can get to that amazing job interview, but you still won't get the job, because that person interviewing you can tell that you don't have that confidence. They can tell that you don't have that belief in yourself. And I also believe that your parents, the people that are around you on a daily basis, they feed you and they nurture you and they help you grow as a person. So if, for example, if there's a career path that you want to pursue and that you want to chase and your parents are against that, I'm not saying that you won't potentially be successful in that field. It just makes that journey more difficult for you. And you're already growing up in a society where, you know, I've had to grow up knowing that I have to work twice as hard as my white counterpart. That's something that I've grown up knowing, you know, and that in itself presents a challenge. When you go out into the working environment, you know that you have to do extra things essentially to be noticed, to be seen. And if you don't have that kind of support backing you at home, that definitely makes your journey a lot more difficult. We have things now that are like social media that may make young people question how they look at themselves. It may give them self-identity issues. It causes eating disorders, mental health issues. There's so many things, like, for example, mental health. Our parents may have experienced that, but it definitely wasn't a conversation that was had openly in the home.
That's true, yeah.
So mental health is something that they've had to kind of familiarize themselves with to this day. And it's still quite sad that people aren't able to have those open conversations and say, hey, mom, hey, dad, I'm struggling with this. You know? And I think mental health is something that is ongoing for sure. And it's definitely something that needs to be normalized. These conversations need to be had, but also encouraging your young people to rise up within the rankings. And what I mean by that is encouraging them to go for that opportunity that may be slightly outside of their comfort zone, but is essential to their self-development and their growth. Encouraging them to do, because I feel like as a young person in today's society, you have to make a choice. You either choose to blend into what's seen as socially acceptable, or you make that decision to stand out. Because I think a lot of people nowadays especially are scared to stand out because, for example, there's this thing called, like, you know, Black Twitter, and people get cancelled for saying things that are
there's a stigma that goes with that. There's a stigma that goes with that.
There's a stigma, yeah. Essentially, they say things that are outside of the norm, and because people, or the vast majority, don't agree with that, they get cancelled for it. They get attacked for it. You know, so even nowadays, it's very difficult to kind of stand up for what you believe in, knowing that you're going against the odds and against the norm. But you have to decide the kind of individual that you want to be. You can either be somebody that fades into the background and continues to kind of go with what society sees as acceptable, or you can choose to stand up for what you believe in and be a part of the change that you want to see, emulate that change, be a beacon for the change, you know. But definitely encouraging young people to take those steps within leadership. It can be something small like being a school council representative for their class.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it could be an outside of school group where they gain those skills to be able to be confident, so that even if they don't want to be the next prime minister or the next MP, going into their job interviews, they're confident, they're sure of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They have that confidence to go and reach for opportunities that may seem like they're not within reach, you know? Because I believe that if you own who you are truly as a person and you're confident within yourself, a lot of people will see that. A lot of people recognize that. And it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to be the best spoken person, the best dressed person, the best looking person. As long as you know who you are as an individual and you're able to share that with other people and empower other people, people will acknowledge you for that. So definitely, like, encouraging young people to actually, even if they're not confident, even if they are shy, sometimes being put in those positions where you're not comfortable is an opportunity for you to grow in a way that you could have never imagined. And in order for you to develop, you have to do things outside of what you're comfortable with. And that doesn't just apply to young people, it applies to parents also, you know? So even with parents, maybe having a conversation that at dinner time that actually your young persons might hear you saying, they're like, what? Are we going to talk about that? You know, having those conversations, normalizing things so that actually your children are happy to be transparent in front of you, you know, because if they can't be who they truly are in their home environment, then that can also cause self-identity issues outside. How can you be the best possible version of yourself or be the most successful person you can be if you don't truly know who you are? So, yeah.
Woo! Right, before you let them go, ask them to ask one question so we can prepare for future lessons. They are asking, parents are asking before you go, you've got any questions about our culture and all that, so that in our next session we can have that. We'll come to that and you can write that in the chat. Chantel's internet went off, but she's managed to come back. If that was me, I would have struggled and give up. You see, the resilience these girls have. Well done, girl power. She came back. You guys are loaded. You guys, I think we need another session because parents are coming up with all this and they are learning a lot from you. It's not being in vain at almost 2 hours. Chantel, we were giving a parting shot, a free throw, whatever you'd like, whatever advice, whatever questions. And you see, parents are asking, you said about the Kenyan culture you'd like to learn. If there's any question, throw those questions and then we prepare. We might have you again next week. People are asking, you are on demand. And then we obviously need to plan this workshop where we have, now things have opened up. We can get a big hall and have workshops because that's what most parents are demanding. So that as we talk, you see, I did say when we started, these Zoom meetings, they are good because they are bringing people from all over. I can see I've got a daughter from Australia. I can see people in America, in Kenya, all over UK, Arab Emirates, we've got them. But so that is one advantage. But the disadvantage is that people are so shy when it comes to opening up, talking to people where all these eyes are looking at you. Right now, you can't see, we can only see the three of us here. But so we need to think of, and we will arrange that with the other chairs. So Chantel, we were winding up, and any parting shot, any comments, any questions, anything you'd like to tell us, please.
Okay, first and foremost, again, I want to thank you so much for having us here and allowing us to share and to connect with all of the parents, all of the Kenyans who are watching today. It's been so lovely. And I guess my parting shot would be to, number one, celebrate you all as Kenyans, as parents, and to say thank you. Thank you for the sacrifice. Thank you for, you know, how you were able to show love in the best way that you knew how. Thank you for, you know, thank you for being able to sacrifice so that we could have a better future. I think that's something that, you know, will never be taken for granted. And maybe if it is, or if it does feel like that at whatever stage of parenting that you're at, know that there'll be a moment that your child will be able to, just like Angel so rightly talked about, sit back and go through different stages of their life and be able to understand that, you know, everything that you did, maybe not, you know, in the best technique, but always in the best interest, and always with love. And yeah, so I want to say that as a parting shot. And I guess I would also say on the flip side, always be open to knowing your child, open to understanding them, open to see where they're coming from, even, you know, as they become young adults. Because I don't know about you, Angel, but I mean, the season in my life that I'm in, it's about now sort of knowing, and that's something that we didn't talk about. We talked about being young, but as a young adult, how your relationship adapts and changes with your parent, and the things that you'll have to begin to navigate in as being an adult child, whether you're living in a family home or whether, you know, you're coming back to visit. What are the things that should become important, whether that's, you know, knowing how to relate to your child, your adult child, or whether that's helping them to understand, you know, things like the inheritance that they have, the culture that they have. That might be inheritance in a physical sense, that might be inheritance in a cultural sense. Really kind of being able to pass on those, you know, that legacy in a way that, you know, that child, that young adult feels like they're able to really kind of take that on. Again, that could be a cultural inheritance, that could be a physical inheritance. I think that that's something that we definitely need to emphasize. I'm sure someone along some podcast or some show that you've had at some point in time has mentioned about the Indians. We always reference the Indians, or, you know, the Asians, how they're able to really kind of build together as families.
That's true,
and I think that that's definitely something for sure
that's
for another
challenge
show
for us.
Yes, that's definitely a topic for another show, in terms of how we really kind of utilize the family unit for growth and for expansion. And you know, again, we're fighting against a society that is naturally individualized, the society that we live in. So I think there's some certain cultures, there's some certain values that we can't let go of, and also some values that we need to make sure that we adopt and instill into our family units. And I will also say, just like Chairman has so rightly said, when we talk about culture, I think one of the best ways that I see that are coming up now within the UK, for you to make sure that your child is connected to culture, because I understand it must be an elephant, because you didn't learn culture, you were the culture, you grew up in the culture. That was a part of who you are, it was a part of your identity, it was a part of going to school in the morning, it was a part of, you know, conversations with your mom, it was a part of learning how to make chapati or whatever else it was. So I understand that it could be a sort of like a difficult or a hard task to understand, okay, how do we actually, in practical sense, embody and implement allowing our children to understand what culture is, or what our culture is. I would say being a part of the communities that are continuing to grow and continuing to evolve, because from there are so many amazing initiatives that are growing. You know, you don't have to do it alone. In fact, it's so much more fun when you do it together with other people. And that is, you know, part of the amazing values that we have as people, as Kenyans. So yeah, those would really be my parting shots.
Wow. You know what? I could own these girls and own them forever. Parents, be warned. I'm really gonna change these girls, and they're going to take on this leadership further than where they've gone, because this is what we need. We cannot just keep on covering them, hiding them in this four walls. They need to go out. The world needs to know that we've got leaders from Kenya who can take on, I'm not going to finish that bit, but I know you've got what it takes. And from my bit is I really want to thank you so much for being so bold. I'm always one who goes for youth leadership because I feel I should not leave this world at all. I should never ever depart and not touch one life where somebody will say, I was encouraged by this lady when she was a counselor, and this is where I've gotten this from. And this is why I've said I've got this mentoring to do. And now I've taken it to another level. So we shall be having more of these sessions and a few more, and then particularly also have the boy child, the young man here also to be with us. So thank you so much. We hakimwari wagathirwo araiga tene ndararigua mundu akĩaria gĩthũngũ. Oh, leave them. They're my friends who are just making fun of. Obviously these girls, their English, even me, I struggled a bit. When I became a teacher here in this country, oh God, that was the most difficult thing. I thought I knew English until I went to these schools, but you are good. So once again, thank you. I'm really proud of you. And please, this is not the end. You are in full demand, and I'm sure you've not emptied all what you need to say. There is a lot. That's good. The need for us to recognize the culture that isn't necessarily just caught, but needs to be taught. Yes, there is value in that. Yes, we shall organize. Yes, I can see somebody, Stacy. Yes, we're organizing the boys shall. Let me get those boys here for me. I'll give you the platform, and I'll do that so that we can lift up. We don't want our boys to be left behind. Like they say in Kenya, the boy child is under siege. No. We really want to help our boys, because if we don't help them, like I asked, who will marry our beautiful girls here? So girls, thank you. And just before you leave, even you need to know from my sponsors and everybody who is listening, would you like to own a property or a piece of land in Kenya? Yes, definitely. Everybody would love to. When you go home on holiday, you'd love to have your own small apartment, 1 room, 2 rooms, or just an apartment or a piece of land. Do not look any further. Almod Estate Company Limited. They are the real deal. Almod Estate Company Limited, they are the real deal. They are dealing with property, they are dealing with land, and they've got the best. So even those people in Kenya, I'll start with the first one here. If you look at that, the first one here is the upcoming, the Almod Kitsuru Heights. We've got phase 1 is already gone. Now we are on phase 2, and more than 32 properties already booked. And can I tell you the secret? Most of the properties here have been booked by people in America. Please don't be left behind. Guys, even you young people, studio flat, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, yes, and the payment is very, very reasonable. You just need to talk to these people, and they will allow you to pay in installments. And that is not all. That's apartments. And then we've got land. They've got land. They are selling land, which is in Isinya, Kitengera, near Kitengera. The piece of land is 1/8 of an acre plots. Internal maram access, estates, manned gate, chain link, borehole, electricity, community area. It's beautiful. And you can see in the background there. And you can send somebody at home to go and check for you so that you know what you are putting yourself into, to do all the due diligence for you, because that is what most people fear. I do not know what I'm buying, so I would like, yes, get somebody to go and do that for you, do the due diligence for you so that you know what it is that you are buying. Finally, also, Almod Estate, they've got, here we go. Look at that. Properties. Some of us, like me, I wouldn't like to go in a big apartment. I would like to go in a nice bungalow, where this is a 3-bedroom and 2 of them are in suite. Oh, so if you bring your friends along, they'll not be embarrassed. This property, the features are 3-bedroom and 2 in suite, gated community and a perimeter wall, which makes it very secure. You've got your own compound. You've got your own spacious and well-lit, enough light in the rooms, adequate water supply. It's very, very essential. If you don't have enough water, you not be buying. They've got enough boreholes, touching the tarmac road, and 24/7 manned security with CCTV. That is very, very important. Whenever people travel home, that's the most important thing. They feel I need security where I'm living. You know what? These bungalows, they were going for 5.75 million, but there is an offer if you buy through me, and this offer ends by the 15th of August, and you don't have to buy cash. It's 4.95 million, and it's valid up to the 15th of August. You can arrange to pay in installments. It's not, if you have the cash, it's okay. If you want to pay in installments, those facilities are there. Get in touch with me, or for further information, plus 254 733 874 080, plus 254 733 874 080. And this is Almod Estate Company Limited, who are in Nairobi, and that is the real deal. They are doing so well. They have supported so many people, and I can tell you, and particularly people in US have bought properties. Young people, you also need to engage in this. Surprise your parents. You are earning. Surprise them. Go and order a property and tell them to go and see. Yes. And now we've come to the end of this very, very, very beautiful session. I have really enjoyed. I can tell you girls, I have learned maybe more than any other parent, because I deal with young people. I've been teaching for so many years, and I really wanted to know more. And so I have learned a lot, and we are coming back. This is not the end. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. I can see what you're saying. Stacy, you are saying thank you, Counselor, for organizing today's live show. Girls, sky is the limit. Let's have more of this. You've made us proud as leaders. Naomi Joel, it was a nice show. That's my daughter, Jean Carrier. I have really enjoyed this session. Reagi Venji, that's my cousin at home. Stacy Monga, I don't know, unacheka kwa nini? We organize a boy child. Yes, we shall organize that. Hakimwari Wagathiro, I'll read this in Kikuyu, because tere ndaiguaga mundu akiaria githungu ngehitha kana ndona mundu na muthungu ngetigira. Nowadays ni ithuaya. Well done, well done, well done. Yes. Tracy Moby says, that's so good. The need for us to recognize that culture isn't necessarily just caught, but needs to be taught. Absolutely, yes. Allow them to grow. Yes, I encourage you to join the community. That's Chairman Lucas says, we have to encourage our youth to join the community groups in the different areas where you are. And with this, we come to the end of our session. Until next week. And for those of you who'd like to know more about Beacon of Hope, on Saturday night, we have another session, but that's in Kikuyu with Bishop BK, my husband. He talks about family, and currently the talk is moto. He's talking, and you know what is happening? There's been so many deaths, young couples killing each other because of finances and all that. So that's the talk tomorrow. And even he talks to young people about courtship. He talks to them about getting to know the right person, dating and all this. So tomorrow, that's every Saturday night, 8 p.m. Same programs, same channel. We meet here, Beacon of Hope. If you want to see most of our past programs, go to Beacon of Hope Beacon. We are there on YouTube. You can visit my Facebook page. And on Sundays, we are spiritual people. We believe in God. We have Powerhouse Church, which is run by my husband, Bishop BK. And we meet on Sunday at 1:30 at those of you near Dagenham, we meet in Dagenham. This is at the Vibe Youth Center, Bay Country Avenue, RM8 2UT, 1:30 to 2:30, just for about an hour or so. And God bless you. Have a lovely weekend, girls. Remember, God loves you. He cares for you. He wants you to bring out the best version of yourself, the best that you can. Stay connected, because with God, all things are possible. I believe that it is. If it were not for God, we would not be where we are. So we cannot forget, we cannot leave out God, who has made us to be who we are today. So once again, thank you ever so much. Have a lovely weekend. I want each one of you to thank your parents on my behalf. Thank your parents. Tell them the counselor was so pleased with you, because they have also played a part. And also give yourself a pat on your back for being so courageous, for speaking so eloquently and answering my questions. And you'll be back, because parents want to hear more of you. So thank you, and have a good night. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
God bless. Thank you, viewers. That has been Beacon of Hope Beacon, our program which comes every Friday evening. And tonight we had these two young ladies who are leaders in the UK, the youth leaders. And if you've missed, you can listen to the recordings. We've got that on Facebook. We've got also on YouTube, Beacon of Hope Beacon. God bless you. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, parents, for allowing your daughters to come in. And now, Brother Lucas, we want the boys. Yes, people have asked by fire demand. We want boys now so that we can also hear from the boys' perspective. So once again, have a beautiful evening. Thank you, Catherine Munir. Thank you. And I wish Mom a quick recovery. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Thank you, Jane Carrier, for really bringing up a lovely, lovely daughter. Thank you, Sade, for letting Angel and tell Mommy I'm so proud of her, for letting them come and open up their hearts. Thank you, Chair Lucas. Thank you, everybody who has participated and made this program successful. We love you. May the Lord bless you. Don't forget, please visit Almod Estate Company. Visit them. Just inquire. You never know. Send people at home to go and check for you. These properties are good. They are going well. And those of you from Kiambu, you know Kivishiku. It's about 15 kilometers from the CBD. Just go and get yourself one. If they were not good, they wouldn't be going so fast. Now the fast phase is gone. And most of the people who purchased are from US. What about us in UK and those of us in Emirates and all the other places? Please, 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 please. Almod Estate Company is the real deal. They are doing so well. They are giving us good discounts. And the payments, you can just go and discuss with them. So once again, get in touch, 2547-3387480, or you can call me and I will connect you with the people in charge of Almod's Estate Company. They are reliable. Yes, there are people, I wouldn't be here talking about them if I knew they were not reliable people. See you, Mekora. Yes. So God bless you. Shalom. Those of you who will be able to join us tomorrow, let's connect tomorrow on Beacon of Hope Beacon with Bishop BK. We're talking about young couples and finances. So what do I say? Shalom. God bless you. We love you. We love you. I know you'd love to continue, but we have to go now. Bye-bye. Till next time. Take care.